Did you ever feel like you were betrayed? I doubt that there are very many people that at one time or another in their life they didn't feel betrayed by somebody or something. I know I could name at least 5 times in my life when I felt betrayed, when I felt like I'd put my trust in someone and they had betrayed me. But sometimes we don't see God's picture. We only see our own selfish little picture. We only see what we thought was best for us instead of what was best for God. And many times we only in hindsight can look back and say, God worked all things together for good for those that he loves and are called according to his purpose. That's the story found in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. It's one of my favorite stories, if you can have a favorite story about betrayal. You remember the mean brothers who meant evil for their brother, wanted him sold off as a slave. Actually, some of them wanted him killed. But God worked it all together for good. And here's what he finally said. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good in order to bring about this present result, to preserve many people alive. God's hand was in it all the way, but Joseph couldn't see that. All he could see was mean brothers who deserved retaliation. But he was able to look back at all of the events between his being cast into a pit and him being elevated to being a ruler of a mighty nation. And he saw the bigger picture. Instead of the trouble and heartache that he suffered, he saw that God had interwoven all of the events to bring about the present result, which was that many people would be saved, not just one boy in a pit with a multicolored coat. Yeah, it's really interesting when you see how God works things together for good for those that love him and are called according to his purpose. A very wise pastor one time told me that I should make sure that whenever I go through troubling times, particularly when I feel like I've been betrayed, that I should let it make me better instead of bitter. Let me say that again. It should make me better instead of bitter. Sometimes what we see as betrayal, God's going to use for good. And sometimes those that betray us may not know how they're working into God's hands, but nevertheless, God is using them and bringing about a better result for our lives. So if you're going through a time when you feel betrayed by someone, just don't let it get you bitter. Let it make you better. And hopefully you're going to be able to look back in this lifetime and see that God worked all things together for good because he loves you and you're called according to his purpose. That's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.